And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and although it does feel like Monday, it's actually Tuesday as everyone kind of gets over a 3-day weekend. Whew. Getting ready for what do we got next? I guess our next big holiday will be Thanksgiving, isn't it? I think so. I may have missed something, but I know that's a big one up and coming. And Lord knows we're getting near the end of the year, aren't we? This will be coming to a close before long. Christmas right around the corner. What a year it's been. On the move it is. A lot happening as Labor Day weekend did come. We do have several sad stories that happened in our area over the weekend that we will go over as we begin this. How are you? Right now, a fair sky, 74. Could be a little fog where you are. We've got a 40% chance. They've changed the forecast in the last 15 to 20 minutes as we look at this, down from a 50% to a 40% chance. That most likely will happen after 1 o'clock this afternoon. High today right around 87. Now, as we go to Marion Honda radar, let's pull this up so you can take a quick look at what we've got this morning. Here we go. We are showing some fog in the immediate area around Philadelphia. As we zoom in on this, we turn on locations. This is going to be on the east side of Philadelphia as we look at this. This picking up anywhere starting at about where the police station is, where the hospital is there at the four-way stop, moving northward up by the Coliseum, and then back east toward Kemper County, not quite making the thick fog down to the Dollar General where Ford's Grocery were. 486 has a little bit there, and around where the airport is. We even have a little bit up here at Bogachita, a little bit of fog there, 21 as well. So if you're coming into Philadelphia on 21 this morning, be careful. You'll encounter a little bit this. Now, the heavier fog that we've got on the Mississippi side will be on South Mississippi after you get into Wayne County. Very thick, Central Alabama. You're going to be stopping there to get a biscuit this morning. Keep that in mind. Is that 2-lane road, very, very dangerous there. Wiggins as well down on 49. Now, as we move over to Alabama, Selma showing a little bit, but we do have a fog advisory that's going to be up here in the northern portion of Alabama this morning. Huntsville, if you're on 65, headed toward Nash Vegas, any of those areas there, we do have it north of Birmingham. So careful. That's a busy, busy highway as you take to the roads, or maybe you're coming back home this morning. That is what we're showing so far. We'll take a closer look here in just a little while as we get deeper into that forecast this morning of everything that's going on. Good morning. So many of you are already up. And Adam, how are you doing? Becky Vickers, Clarence, glad to see you. Connie Johns, Sheila Lang, how are you? Almost said that wrong, didn't I? Whoops, get me to Corey. Good morning. Well, as we begin today, let's start with a few of the stories that are shaping the area. We do have a missing man in the state of Mississippi, and I have to be honest about this. I'm not even going to be able to pronounce it correctly. But as we have a missing man that comes from, and again, I'm going to try to say this, and I assume this was an Indian name, Yellowbusha. You ever heard of this county? Let's pull this up. Let me show you where this is. This is where it is due north of Wynota, near Grenada, this area here. Yellowbusha, yeah, I'm not pronouncing that correctly. But we do have a missing man there that is put out by MBI as we pull this up this morning. And he is missing, possibly a medical condition. As we look at this, let me zoom in on this. If you happen to see him, report that to police. They would love to get him back to his family. Medical condition there, and doesn't think clearly is what we're reading about that. So we hope a safe return to him. Been missing since this weekend. The 4th, actually, is when he went missing there around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll keep you up to date on that, and I'll also read up on how to pronounce that. That one caught me off guard. I know there's 82 counties in Mississippi. I just never noticed that one before. As overnight hours came into Meridian, yes, he was out once again, our favorite. And if we ever send anybody to the Olympics from our area, I think this may be our man. What do they call that? Or maybe track. But he's the fastest thing on 2 feet in Meridian. And yes, we're talking about Naked Man. He was back to the streets of North Hill Street last night near the intersection of North Hills, 29th Avenue, about where he travels most of the time. He's fast. He was quick, wearing nothing but a smile. Seen frequently by Meridian Knights, isn't he? Never hurts anybody. He just likes to, I guess he took that game of show and tell a little too serious. Last night around 9:45 p.m., just off of Highway 19, This will be coming in Marion. You get off on the airport exit as you come, and let me describe this to you. I didn't pull up a map, but we'll show you the map of where this happened. If you come to that red light there, 5th Street, Highway 19, before you reach San Marcos, you've got Mid-South Welding Supply there. If you were to take a right on 5th Street and go about 3 blocks, this is where you would end up. And we pulled this up for you to see this morning. There was a robbery there last night. I had this confused a little bit earlier, and as I spoke with police, got it clarified as to what happened. At first, I thought a clerk had been hurt. It turns out this were 2 people that were outside of the store were robbed last night by 2 men, one carrying a knife, one carrying a gun. One of the people that were there were injured. They did receive a laceration. They were taken to the hospital. I believe it was minor, but at the end of the day, they were still cut. Now, let me click on this map. Maybe we can see a little bit better here. Let me zoom this up. Again, this is Highway 19 here. This is 5th Street. On up here would be, this is Mid-South Welding Supply, and this is Marathon Gas. You go due east here, roughly about 3 blocks, right there, 4609 5th Street. The Food Mart there happened out front of the store last night, roughly around 9:45. Could have been a lot more dangerous during the scuffle. The 2 men that were robbed could not tell what direction that the 2 men left on. They were on foot. They headed off into the night after they had taken what they wanted from the other 2 gentlemen. I think they're going to be okay, but just didn't turn out well for them. Here's the map. I actually did have that up. This is, as you zoom in on this is 5th Street here. This is College Park up here. This is McDonald's. This will be that red light before you get there. If you were to take a right, it sits right here, due south of 8th Street, just to get you familiar with where that happened. Now, if you'll remember back in here is where we had the 2 murders. We had some gunshots up in this area not long ago, becoming a very dangerous neighborhood through that area, all that block from 8th Street south and north as well, as Marion Police Department tries to fight the crime. That does happen as we update you on what went on. Yesterday afternoon, I stumbled upon this. I was out and about, and I saw a large presence of police. What in the world's going on? As I stopped, I grabbed my camera, and I got out, and I happened to bump into a lady that was there. She'd called the police, and she had something stolen from her home. It was her golf cart. And as I put in the story, I guess fate plays a way into things. She was going to the police station to report that her golf cart had been stolen. She stopped at the Shell station there on Highway 39, close to where Barham Funeral Home is. And lo and behold, at the gas pump, what is there? It's her golf cart being pulled behind somebody else's vehicle. So she did what she should have. She called police, described what was going on. As the 2 left, she followed, updated police as they arrived, and then soon the Marion Police Department would catch up. Let me show you this of what happened here. Now, we're waiting for the Criminal Investigation Department to get back in touch with us to tell us what the official charges are. We do know that 2 people from this incident was arrested at the scene. I do not know what the charges are. We'll wait to find that out from the Marion Police Department Criminal Investigation team. But here's the scene. As we all know where Briarwood Country Club Road is, you take a right there and you're headed toward Northeast High School. Ooh, look at this. Here we are. That's the golf cart there. The Marion Police Department was on that. They detained the 2 suspects, as you see here, as this came about. And they really, I have to say, the Marion Police Department did a fantastic job as they closed in on the 2 suspects with this. And again, we'll leave this at suspects because we have not, and I spoke with the Marion Police Department just a moment ago. And again, they're waiting for more information for charges to be passed down through the PD till it reaches us as to what that official charge will be. But can you imagine? Coincidence or fate, however you want to word that. But we are tickled that she'll be getting her golf cart back. I think they tried to take some other things from her home, and it was just a little too muddy and slick for them to run off with it. Oh, boy. As we mentioned, tragedy struck yesterday. I'll pull them, and everybody in the community, I think, in the Highway 80 West area knew this gentleman. We'll wait to officially release the name, but there's a lot of people, even in the comments, that mentioned that they knew him. And I used a generic picture of a Ford tractor as he traveled down Highway 80, and it did become a fatality. As we look at this, we'll pull up the map here. Right along in here is where it happened. The tractor that he was almost struck by a vehicle. He did lose his life in this accident as the tractor overturned. We pass along condolences to him and his family. Just sad, sad, sad that something like that happened in our community. We did see a wreck as we went to Highway 493, just on the outskirts of Marion. Last Chance Tobacco there at the gas station there. As we pull this up, here's the scene of that. And we click on these. As you can see, this car and this car were involved in this accident. Marion Fire Department, Rescue, and also the Marion Police Department arrived on the scene for this. As we take a look at this, a fender bender, maybe a little bit more than a fender bender, pretty hard lick there as we look at the damage there on cars. I think everybody in the end was okay, but still pretty good lick there. Yesterday just seemed to be one incident after another. As we go down to the Shell gas station there near Johnson Dodge, right up from there. And let's pull this up. We can take a look at this. We had another fender bender there. It's Metro Ambulance. You can see in the background. The thing that happened with this wreck is you'll see the car parked right there. This is where you would turn to go on frontage road there. Back of the distance there, the Drury Inn. The person that was also involved in this vehicle accident fled the scene. Tore that car up and they drove on off. We see that quite a bit in the area as people flee the scene. Now, why did they go? We don't know. Most likely they probably had warrants or something else on them that was more serious than a wreck for them to stay there, so they fled the scene. Now, the next thing that we talk about, and I do have some video at a distance. We didn't show anything we shouldn't have on this. Marion, it has been the scene of tragedy after tragedy here the last few weeks. If you will remember, we had an accident where the motorcycle, a gentleman lost his life on a motorcycle there on the Highway 45 bypass. Then we had the elderly gentleman that was struck right there by the 4-lane on Dale Drive, who lost his life. And this was really close yesterday as serious injuries, as we look at this, happened. As we learned that there was an accident that involved a single car. There were 2 children in the car and a driver. The 18-wheeler driver said that the car came around him, and it was as if it just kept going. As the road turned, the car went straight, and off into the woods it went. We do know that the driver received very, very serious wounds to his leg. One of the children, at least one, had some serious head trauma and will rush to a hospital. We do hope they will be okay. But again, as I said, very serious. We'll try to find out more about this accident as they try to recover from this. Just a horrible, horrible Labor Day scene as we look at that. We pray for them. We keep them in our prayers as we look at things that are going on in our community. That very serious there. As we start to look around at things that are going on, all water that we're learning now is restored to Jackson, Mississippi. Now, that does not mean that it's drinkable, or you should take a bath with it, or, well, as they said, keep your mouth closed. But we are learning that all systems are up and running, and hope that that'll be fixed in a few days as they try to repair this. This has made a national scene, national news, and is covered daily as the water supply there is in awful condition. And it's been going on a fight back and forth about this water system for quite some time. With the flooding, it failed. We hope it's fixed before long. You can't even boil that water to drink it. It's that bad. We had a suspect in Yazoo County who fled with a toddler. We see Amber Alerts and things issued all the time. This person was caught pretty quickly. That is good there. No child was hurt is the good news on that. We do find out that in George County, Mississippi, we did have a fatality over the weekend with that. This happened yesterday on Saturday about 5 p.m. Get my days mixed up here, but it was on Saturday. We certainly hate that. We're waiting the Mississippi Highway Patrol report later today, and it may be tomorrow before they get all the figures together to find out how many deaths we had on Mississippi highways and, of course, Alabama side as well. Have you read more and more about this guy from Tupelo? He's being charged with numerous charges. He's going to spend some serious time in jail. Absolutely had no idea how to land the plane. At one point, they did have some more contact with him as they tried to talk him into figuring out, as you see on the movies, of someone how to land a plane. An air traffic controller did attempt to teach him that. The plane came down in one piece. He did walk away from it. We have another inmate in the state of Mississippi that has passed away in jail. Maybe that's the headline of how it's worded there. Inmate, person that was jailed. It's under investigation. A man named Justin Holloman, 33 of Moss Point. He was arrested for public drunk charge and was taken to Jackson County Jail. He was found later in his cell unresponsible. He had passed away. I'm sure that there's a investigation into that as we try to find out more about that. But as you'll think back, we had one death in Neshoba County. We had one in Lauderdale County. And then we also had one at the prison site at Lost Gap, a death there in recent weeks. This makes the fourth that I'm aware of out of the prison system or jail system, however you want to word that. The two that were in the one in Neshoba County and Lauderdale County were deemed natural causes. We're yet to hear anything on the Lost Gap. I know more than I'm telling, but official word has not been given across that. We do have a new Barbie that's coming out that will honor someone from Mississippi. That's pretty neat there. The first millionaire, the first black lady that was ever a millionaire is going to be featured. She was known as Madam C.J. Walker. They're going to be making a doll for her. Pretty neat to have that from the state of Mississippi. Congratulations to her family. We also see that there was some more deaths on Mississippi Highway Saturday evening. Loosedale, Mississippi. 2 people lost their lives there as well. Horrible, horrible. Have somebody else, and this is, if you remember, Johnny Cash had the song about it. Y'all remember that when he talked about don't go writing hot checks down in Mississippi? There ain't no good chain gangs. We had a man arrested. Why? Cashing more than $9,000 worth of fake checks that he had borrowed. Hattiesburg made that arrest. They've been kind of busy down there, haven't they? Always something going on in the Hattiesburg area there. As we look around at some of the state or national news, the young lady will probably find out more today. But as news started breaking yesterday afternoon in Memphis, they do have a crime scene. A body was found near where she was abducted, of where that van was seen on that video. They have not confirmed that it's her, but I'm afraid as we read between the lines that later today we may find out that that was her. How horrible. As you read more about this and are being told more about what he did, watched her for 20 minutes and then came in for the attack. This man had also recently gotten out of jail for what? Abduction of a lawyer. The lawyer did live. He spent 20 years in jail. Got out to repeat the crime again. This time he went all the way with what he did. How horrible, how horrible. We just, there's things that we can't change, is it? But we have to have our prison systems to where criminals don't, 20 years is a long time. Who is it that that deems this, that they are ready to go back into society? I think they made a grave mistake on that. We did see where Joe Biden had a speech yesterday on Labor Day. Supposed to have had a big turnout there. Small crowd of union workers appeared with it. Kind of like those parades when he was running for office. You'd see 3 people there, but he got 74 million votes, I'm told. Joe. We got your forecast coming up in just a moment. I hope you've got a smile and are ready to face this day. We'll take a good look at this to let you know exactly what's going to happen with the weather today as we're all into September. Aren't y'all ready for some fall weather? I am. Can't wait for it. Don't rush off. We'll share that with you next.
On this field, as on the gridiron, each inch is fought for and marked by sweat. Each inch taken through disciplined training. With a Kubota L2501 tackling each inch in the trenches, whether those inches are measured here or here, all adding up to yards. For each yard, Kubota measures victory, and the touchdown is Parrish Tractor. Here, we're much more than a tractor store.
Folks, if your yard is needing grass and you need it quick, talk to our friends at Coates Hydro Seeding. They offer residential and commercial. The great thing about this, it doesn't wash, the water treads, and it holds the soil in place. It's the easiest way to grow grass. That's hydro seeding. You'll get a great looking lawn without all the dry spots. How many times have you put out seed and it gets washed away, blown away, or even the birds eat it? Talk to our friends at Coates Hydro Seeding, 601-728-1954. And a good morning to Miss Barbara Jones. I haven't seen you in quite some time. I hope you're doing well today. James Sullivan up, watching us from APAC here in Meridian. Appreciate it. And a lot of you passing along sympathy and prayers for the loss of those that we've seen in our community over this Labor Day weekend. We do appreciate that, and I'm sure the families do as well. Tricia Brown watching us from Lawrence today. Glad to see you there. Also, let's see, from Quitman, Tommy Duffield. Did I pronounce that right? Hope I did. Sometimes I make a mistake. I apologize beforehand. Good morning from Philadelphia, Terry Ray. How are you doing? All right, let's get into our forecast. Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and look at radar one more time as we get this before we go deeper into what the National Weather Service tells us. Let me click this button and bring this back up and do an overall look at what we've got. Again, we've got a lot of fog just north of us as we pull this up for you to visit and see what I'm seeing here around Philadelphia here. East of Philadelphia, y'all be careful. Highway 16 area, Highway 19 rolling into Philadelphia. That's grown a little bit since we last looked at that. We're going to show that now we're showing a lot of fog there at Tucker. You're going to lose that 4-lane about right here at House. You get to Tucker where the school is, it's going to get to 2-lane. Highway 491, very dangerous this morning, all the way to the county line now. So if you're coming from Kemper County into Neshoba, be careful, as well as if you're heading out right here. If you're going to be traveling 21 or 482, look at that. 15 as well up near Burnside has a lot of fog, and Bogachitta still got that fog. Now, we do not have any fog advisories for the state of Mississippi. Doesn't change the fact that there is fog. As we go south, heavy here on Highway 45 if you're heading into Central Nell or anywhere around Leakesville, McLean, these areas here headed toward the Mississippi Gulf Coast. If you've got to go there, Picayune, y'all got it as well, and Wiggins. As we glance across area, we do have some light showers there at Macomb. We move out toward Texas. Nothing big stirring there. A little bit of a showers just east or north west of Tyler, Texas. But look at all of this up in the Carolinas, Kentucky, at the fog that we have on the East Coast. Philadelphia, New York, at the rain that we've got, and tons of fog out in Iowa. Look at that. As we look out to the West Coast, well, just some heat waves. Nothing serious going on. So look around, and we're going to get into all of this here. Look how fortunate we are. This is at this point, still a tropical storm, expected to go into a Category 1 and then to a Category 2, then 3 as we look at this, and then start downgrading by Saturday. Now, again, all of these, this is a Cat 1. This is the first one of the year, stays at a 1. But we're fortunate that none of this is headed toward the Gulf. Aren't we thankful? We'll look at what the National Weather Service has to tell us on that in just a second.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our record highs and record lows, we'd have to go back to 1925 to find that hot record on this date was set at 104 degrees. Woof! As we go to 1891, our coolest, it was 50 degrees on this date, long before I was ever thought of. As we look at this, showers expected today. Meridian will hit 87. As you'll look here, heavier rain due south of Jackson toward Brookhaven with a high of only 84. Now, there's light chances of this rain, as I mentioned, coming in after 1 o'clock in the east central portion here in West Alabama, these areas here. Greenville up Mississippi Delta, pretty warm there, 90 as we go south to Hattiesburg, 88. Let's look at Alabama. And the northern portion of Alabama has a larger chance of rain, as well as this fog that we'll show you as we get toward Troy, Alabama, toward the coast there, 89. Looks like we'll have about 87 as well there in Livingston and Demopolis. As we look to Alabama, as I mentioned, the northern portion of the state, up in this area north of Birmingham, has a fog advisory this morning through 9 a.m. Be careful if you've got to travel. 65 through there, 59, 22, any of those areas north of Birmingham headed out of state. Could be kind of dangerous this morning. Always something happening there. Now, enjoy this while we can. As we look at our outlook for the next 6 to 10 days, this is what we've got. As you see, the Meridian area, most of Mississippi, a little bit cooler there. We're at a normal. Northern Tennessee has just a tad below. Shocking, isn't it? But out to our west, you see that heat wave out here. It ain't over yet, as summertime is still in the area. We're just seeing some 80-degree weather at this point. All right, let's look at our forecast. Here we go, brought to our good friends at Wilson Saw and Outdoor. We've got that 50% chance of rain today, as we'll get the rain chances after 1 o'clock is what we're looking at. Not so horrible, is it? It's not. As we look to tonight, decreasing to a 30% chance of rain, and that will mainly be between that 7 and 8 p.m. right at dark. Otherwise, a cloudy sky and low around 70 for tonight. Tomorrow, rain returns a little bit higher as we'll get a 70% chance of rain according to the National Weather Service. My system going with a 60% chance. Both agree that this will happen after 4 o'clock tomorrow, late in the afternoon. As we get on to Thursday, decreasing to a 30% chance, and just in time for your weekend. Yep, let's go ahead and bring some more rain in, just in case you wanted to cut grass. 70% chance on Friday, 60% chance on Saturday, but decreasing toward church time and Monday. A 40% chance on Sunday and a 30% chance on Monday. But see, we still have this low weather here as that creeps across. And again, enjoy it while we can, because those temperatures will make one last stand before it warms back up again. As we look all the way through September the 20th, still holding steady in the mid-80s. Eventually that will run out. We'll get back to around 90 before it's all said and done. Won't y'all be ready for some October weather where it really cools things down? We drag out a little small light jacket. All right, let's go back and talk about hurricane season. It has been calm for us so far. As we pull this up this morning, here's what we're seeing here. We have the Cat 1 with Danielle. She's got 75-mile-an-hour winds, moving northeast at 8 miles an hour. Earl, expected to be a little bit stronger than Danielle in the end. It's just a tropical storm at this point, only at 63 miles an hour, moving north at 7 miles an hour, and eventually Earl will pick up speed by the weekend and become a Category 2, but no threat to the Gulf or here on the eastern coastline. We watch this outside of Africa, 60% chance within the next 5 days of this becoming also a hurricane. Tropical storm at least as we watch all of this. No threat to us yet. We hope it stays that way as we look at these charts of what they're showing us here. Here's Earl veering to the right, as we mentioned, and then, of course, here's Danielle staying way away from everything. Those are the great news. Couldn't get any better news than that, could we? What about fishing today? There's a lot of folks that eat it up 24/7, 365 days a year. We head over to Chet's Paint and Body to find out what will happen. Major time coming up at 10 o'clock. 10 to lunch today if you want to head out and hit the water somewhere. Oak Tibby, Kemper Lake, any of these great places you can go fishing. The wind's going to be calm, becoming west around 5 miles an hour this afternoon. So a great day to go fishing. Nothing wrong with it. That's a quick look at what we've had over the area for the last 30 minutes we've talked about. We're going to be back live with Candace in an hour and 1 minute from now. We'll go deeper into details on some of these stories and cover some more news stories for you. Again, we can't thank y'all enough for watching us, being supportive of us, as you see all of our sponsors on the screen that help us deliver this to you every single day. Thank y'all so much. Let's see here. Sandra says it's 57 degrees in Illinois this morning. Whew. Terry says it's foggy up there in Philadelphia as well. Y'all drive careful. We'll be back in just a bit as we'll gather some more news stories and get you the latest of information that's going on in our area. See you soon from the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: